Surah 22, Al-Hajj. Hajj, Annual Convention. Ayat 1. O mankind! Be conscious of the laws of your Rabb and guard them, and establish your society on correct lines. If you do not do this, on your own, it will happen through a tremendous revolution which will shake everything from the very roots. Ayat 2. The severity of the havoc created on the day this revolution takes place will be such that no one will take notice of the other, even mothers will forget their nurslings and not feel sorry at all, pregnant women will suffer miscarriages, everyone will appear to be intoxicated although they would not be drunk, and all this will be because of severe punishment from Allah. Ayat 3. These divine laws are very simple, straightforward and clear, yet, some people who have neither knowledge nor vision raise controversies in this regard. This happens because they follow their own rebellious passions, not realizing that this attitude will deprive them of life's bounties. Ayat 4. In any case, according to our law, the one who follows his own rebellious passions or selfish companions shall end up on an erroneous path which would lead him to the utter destruction of Jahannam. Ayat 5. These people adopt this attitude because they assume that life exists only in this world and that it ends with death, and for them success lies in collecting as much wealth as they can through any possible means. Tell them, if you are in doubt about the truth of life after death, because such a phenomenon does not, outwardly, appear feasible, just ponder on the fact how we initiated your creation out of inorganic matter. Thereafter, with the mixing of water in it, the first life cell appeared. Life then passed through various phases of development until it reached a stage where augmentation took place by procreation. Pregnancy takes place in the mother's womb, then life takes the form of a suspended leech, an embryonic lump is formed, which is complete in some forms yet incomplete in others. It passes through all these stages so that the latent potentialities in the embryo are gradually developed. Then we cause the fetus to stay in the mother's womb for a certain period according to our law, after which it appears in this world as an infant. Then you gradually grow up and reach the age of maturity. Some of you die in the prime of youth, while some become so old that in that reduced state of mind you start forgetting things which once you knew so well. This is an example of the intrinsic evolutionary process. Now consider the outside world and reflect over land that is lying dry and barren with no sign of life and growth. When rain falls it becomes verdant and gradually brings forth a world of beautiful greenery. Ayat 6. All this happens because the existence of Allah is an absolute fact. His law always brings forth solid and constructive results, and brings lifeless objects to life. Therefore, it is not at all difficult for him to bring the dead back to life. He has laid down measures, laws, for everything, and he exercises absolute and full control over everything. Ayat 7. These are the laws according to which dead nations are brought back to life, and human beings receive life after death. Accordingly, the revolution that will give new life to this apparently weak and lifeless group will surely come, and there is no doubt about it. Likewise, there is no doubt that Allah will also bring the dead to life. Ayat 8. But, as has been said before in Surah 22 Ayat 3, there are certain people who have neither the knowledge nor vision, nor the correct guidance or manifesto, code of laws, that would take them out of the darkness and enlighten them. Yet they dispute and raise controversies regarding the divine laws. Ayat 9. When you talk to such a person, instead of listening to you and answering rationally, he turns away, with scorn and arrogance. He leads, not only himself, but also other people astray. For him there is disgrace and ignominy in this world, and a burning chastisement on the day of judgment. Ayat 10. He will be told that, this is the outcome of your own deeds. Allah is certainly never unjust to his obedient people, and they will face the consequences of their deeds. Ayat 11. There are some people who turn away from the divine laws in this manner. On the other hand, there are those who do obey the divine laws, but they are always on the edge. They are satisfied if they see something good in obeying the laws, but if they apprehend any kind of loss, they turn away without any hesitation. As a result of such an attitude, they are losers in this world as well as in the hereafter. Ayat 12. Such an attitude exists because they are not convinced of the immutability of the divine laws. Therefore, when they perceive a loss apparently resulting from obeying these laws, they leave Allah aside and start calling other forces for help which, in fact, hold no power to benefit or harm them. Can there be any bigger mistake? Ayat 13. They call such forces for help which cause far more harm than benefit. How evil these patrons and their followers are. Whenever human beings call on other forces besides Allah for help, these would be either other human beings, or some natural phenomena. All forces of nature have been subjugated to man by God, and therefore none can be superior to him. On the other hand, human beings are equal and therefore none amongst them can be worthy of superiority or worship. It is against human dignity that he should consider another man, or something that is inferior to him, as his superior. Can there be a greater loss? Even if a man extols another at the cost of his own respect and dignity, this cannot be considered real benefit. The Quran teaches us about mutual cooperation, whereby human beings help each other without degrading one another. However, when one man has to beg another for help, his human dignity is destroyed. This is a great loss and is shirk, and leads to destruction in this world and in the hereafter. Ayat 14. On the contrary, Allah shall bestow an evergreen blissful life on those who have conviction in the immutability of the divine laws, and who in conformity with these laws do deeds which help in developing their potentialities, and who work to correct disorder in society. All this happens in accordance with that divine law of mukafat, which he has made according to his mishia, his plan, and desire. Ayat 15. Anyone who believes that an outside factor or law has no effect on the outcome of human actions, and denies the fact that the present and future pleasures in life are only achievable through divine help, by following his laws, should try depending only on material resources and sever all links with divine values. Then let him see whether his scheme or strategy indeed succeeds in obliterating the realities, the very imagination of which enrages him. To do so is impossible. Divine laws are not such that they become effective only if you accept them, and that if you reject them they have no link with your affairs. All human affairs will always be under the divine laws, for they produce destined outcomes for human deeds irrespective of whether one accepts them or not. There is no escape in this world or in the hereafter. Ayat 16. How clear, candid and convincing are these signs and reasoning with which we have revealed the divine code, but only those who wish to benefit from them can do so. If one keeps one's eyes closed, what benefit can the sun provide him? Ayat 17. The greatest hurdles in accepting the universality of law are the religious factions due to which one becomes prejudiced and is closed to reasoning. In spite of all arguments they cannot see the right path, and it is therefore not possible to do away with these differences. So whether they are Momineen, Jews, Sabians, Christians or polytheists, there is only one course left open for settling their differences. And that is, let them continue following their own respective codes. The results that ensue from their deeds will positively show who is treading the correct path in conformity with the divine code, and who has gone astray. Nothing is hidden from Allah and every action will ultimately produce corresponding results. Ayat 18. If someone wants to see how, in spite of difference in color, creed or conviction, the divine law is universally applicable, one should ponder over the outer universe. One will observe that whatever exists in the universe, namely the sun, the moon, the stars, mountains, trees and other living beings all follow the divine laws. So can a human being, who is a part of this universe, stay outside the ambit of these laws? How is this possible? The difference is that whereas everything in the universe is by its very nature compelled to follow the destined law, man is given choice and discretion. He can follow the law if he wishes, or disobey it if he chooses to do so. It is the result of this choice and discretion that many people follow his law, while others choose to disobey. Whoever disobeys will suffer the resulting punishment. This punishment is a life of disgrace, as no one else can bestow honor and respect on the one who is subjected to chastisement for defying God's laws. This is because respect and honor are tied with obedience to divine laws. The divine laws, according to which decisions regarding honor, respect or debasement are taken, are compiled according to his law of Mishshia. None can interfere with them, whether these laws pertain to the outside world or human beings. They are all determined only by Allah and no one else. Ayat 19. Apparently, there are many religions in the world, but in actual fact, mankind is divided into two groups, one which is convinced of the truth of Allah's law of universal rububiyyah, and the other which rejects it. These groups are in a continuous struggle. As for those who insist on denying the divine laws, there is nothing for them except destruction and doom. This will be such a severe chastisement that its flames will engulf their centers of consciousness, it will totally disintegrate their personalities, and their heads, which are presently held high with pride and arrogance, will stoop under the constraining impact of this grievous punishment. Ayat 20. All external and internal rigidness will melt away. Ayat 21. At present they have transgressed every limit of tyranny and oppression, and are neither open to reasoning nor are they prepared to give up their stand. Therefore there is no option left, except that they will be held back with force, and mankind will be saved from their cruelties when their might is shattered. Ayat 22. This arrangement should not be on a provisional or temporary basis. It should be permanent, so that, when they are panic-stricken and try to escape, they should be driven back and told to taste the suffering and torment which burn and reduce everything to ashes. They will face this situation in this world as well as in the hereafter. Ayat 23. In contrast is the other group of, the Momineen, on the basis of their Iman and positive constructive deeds, will abide in a society that is evergreen. They will occupy very high positions in the state and, their insignia will be bracelets of gold and necklaces of pearls and garments of the finest silk. Ayat 24. For they were guided to an extremely pure, pristine and pleasant ideology of life, and were guided on to the way that is worthy of unlimited praise and admiration. This will be the pattern of their life in this world as well as in the hereafter. Ayat 25. Kaaba is the center of the system, the exhilarating scenario of which has been depicted earlier. This place is worthy of the highest respect and will ultimately become the fountainhead of divine obedience. We have declared it open for the whole of mankind, for those who dwell here and for those who come from abroad. Its doors are open to all who have been denied justice and fairness, and everyone shall benefit equally from its bounties, but if someone tries to deviate even slightly from the right course, by either profanity or evildoing, we shall punish him severely. Not only do these people themselves flout this system of justice and equity, they prevent others from coming towards it. How long can their transgression be tolerated? The time has now come to put a check on their actions, in order to protect humanity from their excesses and aggression. Ayat 26. This center of the divine order was founded by Abraham, so that obedience would remain for Allah alone. No one else should be ascribed a share in it. We had told him that the center should be purged of all self-made concepts and beliefs, and reserved for educating and disciplining people. The responsibilities of people so organized would be to supervise other nations and keep watch over their actions, establish an exemplary social and judicial system, and thereafter to completely submit to the divine order. Ayat 27. After this we told Abraham, proclaim to the people that they should henceforth come to this place for the final decisions on their affairs. They should come from every part of the world, after traveling long distances on foot or on mounts which may become lean on account of fatigue from the journey. Ayat 28. They should come here so that they can witness with their own eyes the beneficial and wonderful work being done for them by this system. And during the appointed days of this congregation, they should slaughter the cattle we have provided, after pronouncing on them the name of Allah. They should eat the meat themselves and also feed the needy and poor who may be there. Ayat 29. Let them eat, drink and ponder over the schemes with consultations. Consultation will remove impurities from their collective, national lives, so that they will be able to discharge their duties and responsibilities, which they have taken upon themselves for the sake of the collective welfare of society. In this way, the entire Ummah will become the guardian of this center, which in this world is a unique symbol of freedom, strength and divine authority. The center also enjoys the honor of being the first and the oldest house. Ayat 30. This is the objective of this congregation. Thus for the one who observes and honors restrictions prescribed by Allah, the deeds would rebound for his own good in accordance with the divine laws. We said earlier that you can slaughter animals in this congregation, but remember that all cattle are lawful to you except those forbidden, earlier in Surah 5 Ayat 3. But one should not be under the impression that by merely following the code concerning restrictions on edibles, the purpose of deen has been fulfilled. For this it is also important that one should keep away from everything that makes life static, dulls one's thinking capability, and suspends the process of action. And idol worship is their perceivable form. When life becomes stagnant, pollution occurs in all its parts, thereby stopping the development of abilities. But movement and struggle without determining the objective is also meaningless. It is therefore important that one should shun every concept which takes him away from his destined course. Ayat 31. The correct course of action is to fully and wholeheartedly concentrate on obeying the divine law, and not to include any other authority in this obedience. Bear in mind that whoever bows before any other authority will be deprived of the high status bestowed on human beings. An example of such a person is like one who comes hurtling down from the skies and falls to the lowliness of the earth. He is left helpless, and is so weak and lean that even a strong gust of air would swirl him like straw and throw him away. Ayat 32. This is exactly what happens when someone obeys powers other than Allah. On the contrary, those who obey the divine system and honor its symbols really show, from the depth of their hearts, their complete respect for the laws of Allah. But one should bear in mind that mere show of respect for the symbols is not an end in itself. If all these symbols take the form of rituals only, they would take man far away from the spirit of deen. Ayat 33. Once again, bear in mind the reality that the cattle which you slaughter during this congregation do not assume any sanctity like other such animals which are offered as sacrifice in various other places of worship. These are just ordinary cattle whose services you have utilized during the journey, and then after reaching the Kaaba, you slaughter them for food. Ayat 34. This is not the first time that we have told you the manner according to which an animal has to be slaughtered. We had given such instructions to other communities as well, that while slaughtering animals they should pronounce the name of Allah over them. The objective is that you should always bear in mind the true and clear concept of Allah, and you should never lose sight of the reality that absolute authority over you is that of Allah alone and none else. Therefore, you should obey only His laws. This is the gist of the divine code which no one should dispute. You should therefore give glad tidings of life to people who submit to this supreme basic reality. Ayat 35. These are the people who tremble at the very thought of disobeying the divine laws that have been presented to them. They patiently and courageously endure the obstacles and difficulties which come in their way while obeying these laws, and they never waver. Thus they establish the system of Salah and keep open all that we have made available to them, for the nourishment and benefit of other human beings. Ayat 36. And the camels, which are slaughtered during this congregation for the purpose mentioned above, are also among the symbols of the divine order. In fact, anything which contributes in any way towards establishing or strengthening the divine system is counted among such symbols. But this does not mean that these cattle become sacred for you, they are for your use. So line them up and slaughter them after proclaiming the name of Allah, and when they fall to the ground on their sides, eat their flesh and feed the needy as well as those who are in distress. It is for this purpose that we have made animals subservient to your needs, to enable you to pay full attention to your high goal so that you may achieve fruitful results. Ayat 37. It is being reiterated that these cattle are essentially to meet your requirements, and that this is the reason for slaughtering them on this occasion. It is not their blood or flesh which reaches Allah, what matters unto Him is how you guard His laws. He has made the cattle subservient to you so that you become free of your physical needs and can wholeheartedly make efforts to ensure that the code of law ordained by Allah for your guidance attains supremacy over all man-made laws. And to the people who lead balanced and graceful lives according to the divine laws, give glad tidings of the very pleasant outcome of their deeds. Ayat 38. And accordingly, Allah shall ward off evil and keep mu'mineen, who follow this path, safe from the reach of their enemies. How can those, who are not trustees of human good and welfare, and who stubbornly deny the divine system, be liked by God? Ayat 39. It is for this reason that permission is hereby given to the people, mu'mineen, who have been oppressed, and against whom war is being wrongfully waged, to fight, in self-defense. Allah indeed has the power to support oppressed people. Ayat 40. The only fault of the oppressed people who were unjustifiably driven from their homes was that they proclaimed Allah alone as their sustainer. But evil rebellious forces never permit people to exercise the option of having their own Rabb. Imagine, if Allah had not enabled people to defend themselves against others, and let loose the rebellious forces to do whatever they liked, they would not even have spared places of worship like monasteries, churches, synagogues and mosques, where Allah's name is proclaimed profusely. These places would have been pulled down long ago. Allah will thus most certainly help any group which rises to defend the system based on justice and equity, wherein the freedom to worship is the basic right. Indeed, Allah is most powerful and reigns supreme over everything. Ayat 41. Concerning the group of oppressed people which has at last risen to wipe out transgression and zulm, if we bestow on them the authority to rule and they do come into power, they will not do any injustice and oppression but they will establish Salah, so that everyone in society follows the system of divine laws. They will provide means of development to each and everyone, and enforce laws which are in conformity with the divine code, the Qur'an, and forbid people from doing anything that is contrary to it. In other words, in every case they will first look for the guidance given by Allah's law, and then after discussion and consultation decide their affairs according to the divine law. Ayat 42. This, O Rasul, is the objective of your mission, but if these people, in spite of such clarity, still adamantly belie you, then there is nothing new in it. Remember that long before your time the people of Noah, the tribe of Ad and Thamud, also belied their Rasul, messengers. Ayat 43. And so did Abraham's people and those of Lot. Ayat 44. And the dwellers of Midian, the people of Shu'aib. Similarly Moses too was belied. In every case we gave these rebels respite according to our law of Mukafat, so that they could revert to the right course, but when they did not, our law took them to task. Just go through the pages of history to find out how terrible was the consequence of their reprobation. Ayat 45. History will tell you how many habitations were destroyed by our law of Mukafat, for they were immersed in oppression and evil doings. Their habitations were destroyed, and their tall buildings tumbled down, wells lay abandoned and well-built castles became ruins. Ayat 46. Have these people not traveled in those areas, so that they could take some warning from the ruins, and have their hearts not become wiser to ponder these matters rationally and their ears to listen? In fact, when a person closes his mind, his faculties of thinking and understanding are diminished. Ayat 47. When these people, who instead of using their intellect keep on insisting and ask why the threatened chastisement is not approaching fast, tell them that the law of Allah is unchangeable. According to this law, it is just possible that you do not see the results of your actions, but the point is that when these results are compiled according to the divine laws, it takes due time for their manifestation. According to the divine system, the duration of a day equals 1,000 years according to your count. Changes in the universe and catastrophic upheavals in nations sometimes take long to occur. Ayat 48. Therefore, explain to them that because the punishment is not coming soon, they should not be deceived that the law of mukafat is merely an empty threat. Historical episodes provide evidence to this hard fact that many cruel and unjust nations were in the first instance given respite, and, when they did not mend their ways, were taken to task. They should therefore understand that their end too will be according to this law. They cannot escape from it. Ultimately, they have to come back to us. Ayat 49. O Rasul, tell them, my duty is only to give you clear warning of Allah's law of mukafat. Ayat 50. Those who are convinced of the truth of these laws and do positive constructive deeds, will not only be safe from destruction but will also be provided with honorable sustenance. Ayat 51. Those who attempt to thwart our law by trying to live a successful life while opposing divine laws, will never be able to do so. Every door to success and achievement will be closed on them, and they will be unable to take even one step forward. They will thus be destroyed. Ayat 52. This is not the first time that we have laid down and explained the causes of the rise and fall of nations. We have revealed this through various anbiya. But what has happened is that, our Rasul came and conveyed Allah's message to the people, but when he departed they interfered with the divine message because of their nefarious designs, so that it became totally different. Then Allah would send another Rasul, who would strengthen these laws again by sifting out human interference. This is because Allah knows all and His acts are based on wisdom. Ayat 53. The result of human interference in the divine laws is that those whose hearts are diseased, with selfish motives, or are rigidly against accepting the truth, remain rebellious, and also keep others in the same state of mind. Think of the extent to which the Zalimin who reject the divine laws can go. They coin their own Sharia and then attribute it to Allah. Ayat 54. This consecutive system of revelation has now reached the Qur'an, wherein we have collected in its true form all that was revealed earlier to various anbiya. There is no human adulteration in it, nor will it ever be possible to tamper with it because Allah Himself has taken the responsibility of its preservation. People who ponder over it rationally will clearly understand that everything revealed in the Qur'an is the established truth from your sustainer. So in all fairness, with complete submission of their hearts they should express Iman in its truth and obey it in true spirit. And our law is that, we guide whoever expresses Iman in the truth of wahi towards a balanced and straight path of life. Ayat 55. As for those who do not seriously ponder with reason and vision, they will always remain in doubt until the time when the promised hour unexpectedly overtakes them, or until the day of chastisement which will destroy all their hopes. And, they will never be able to come back. Ayat 56. On that day power and authority shall lie only with the divine law and everything shall be decided according to that code, the Quranic. This means that those who have faith in the truth of the divine laws and act on a constructive program based on those laws will enjoy the pleasures of life. Ayat 57. And those who deny the divine law shall face the most disgraceful suffering. Ayat 58. Meanwhile, if the people who have to leave their homes, and their belongings, for the sake of establishing this system are killed or die, a natural death, they should not be disheartened that this divine system could not be established during their lifetime. They did take full part in the struggle and earned an eternal life. Therefore, after their death, Allah will provide them the best means of nourishment which will enable them to attain advanced stages of development in their life. Allah is certainly the one who provides the best of sustenance. Ayat 59. And He will take them to that stage of life which they would appreciate very much. This is an absolute reality as He is all-knowing and takes everything to its destined end with complete forbearance. Ayat 60. However, the purpose for which you have been given permission to wage war is, people who had not committed aggression on others but had themselves been subjected to tyranny, have retaliated. Even then the enemy has not stopped and has instead committed further excesses. Under these circumstances the victim must be provided with every help in accordance with the divine laws. His law certainly provides the means of protection to overcome excesses and every kind of aggression. Ayat 61. This is because the divine law, which operates in the universe, itself desires change, so that the oppressed do not remain under perpetual oppression and the aggressor does not always have an upper hand. Can you not see how, in the outer universe, the divine law makes night pass into daylight, and how the day then merges into the night? He is all-hearing, all-seeing. Ayat 62. This is because Allah alone is the ultimate truth. Everything else that men invoke besides Him is sheer falsehood. Concrete and positive results are produced only by following divine laws. Outside the ambit of these laws the process brings out negative and destructive results. The divine law is exalted and reigns supreme over all other laws. Ayat 63. The law that produces constructive results, in the universe, can be witnessed by how He sends down rain from the clouds, following which the earth turns lush green. Certainly it is only Allah who is fully aware, in the finest and most imperceptible ways, of the circumstances and capabilities of everything. Ayat 64. Everything in the universe is busy fulfilling His destined program. He does not need any outside help to make His law effective. This law has built-in productive forces and, its results are its own living proof and they beget unsolicited appreciation from all. Ayat 65. Have you also not pondered over the fact that, for your benefit, Allah has tied everything that exists on the earth into laws? See how boats sail, piercing through the waves of the sea according to the divine law, and how He holds back the rain so that it only pours down on earth in accordance with His law. The entire system of the universe functions according to an established code, so that it can ensure a continuous supply of means of nurture, and keep away anything that hinders the development of mankind. Ayat 66. This is the law according to which He has given you life, causes your physical death, and then brings you back to life. The rise and fall of nations similarly occurs according to the laws of God. The whole system has been created to work for the benefit of man. But look at his own conduct. He wants to spend his life in accordance with laws other than the divine message. How very ungrateful he is. Ayat 67. This is our basic law which has been in force ever since the beginning. However, its practical applications have differed during different periods, according to the requirements of the people and their particular circumstances. Therefore, every community has different customs, rites, rituals and ceremonies, so do not let them draw you into dispute because of this fact. The hub is the basic knowledge, which is now finally preserved in the Qur'an, and no permission can be given to dispute that. In other words, it is neither possible that some changes be made here and there in order to arrive at a compromise with opponents, nor can any teachings against the Qur'an be accepted as true. The ultimate truth and guidance is the one which is preserved in the Qur'an. Therefore, O Rasul, continue to call them to the divine message because you surely are on the straight path. Ayat 68. And if they try to argue with you about this, tell them, there is no use of any argument with me. Allah's law of mukafat is well aware of what you are doing, and that law will automatically produce results. Ayat 69. And when the time comes for the results to appear, this law of Allah will decide on the matters on which you differ now. Ayat 70. Do you not realize that Allah has full knowledge about everything that exists in the universe? Nothing is concealed from His law of mukafat. Thus, whatever occurs in the universe is brought on record by His law, and all this is very easy for Him. Ayat 71. The reason for their differences is that they want to leave the divine laws, and obey other powers and laws for which Allah has neither bestowed any authority nor do they have any knowledge. They just follow their forefathers, but they should bear in mind that no one can help those who rebel against the divine laws. Ayat 72. The condition of these people is such that, when our wahi is presented to them in all its clarity, they become agitated due to their repugnance and hatred. The effects of this agitation appear clearly on their faces, so much so that it seems they are about to assault those who convey our message to them. Ask them, shall I tell you of something worse than what you feel at present? It is the grievous chastisement of fire, which burns down everything to ashes. This punishment is destined for those who insist upon denying the truth of the divine law and rebel against it. How vile an end to a journey it is. Ayat 73. O those who obey powers other than Allah! The situation is being explained to you by a parable, so listen to it with full attention. The helplessness of the powers you invoke besides Allah is such that even if they join all their forces for this purpose they cannot create even a fly. Moreover, they cannot even retrieve anything which a fly takes away, and devours. Now just imagine the helplessness of these deities as well as of those amongst you who have taken these deities as their God. Ayat 74. They have in fact failed to assign to Allah the proper value that is His due. He surely is almighty, all overpowering, and Allah ought to be like that, not as they perceive Him. Ayat 75. As regards the Malaika, the heavenly forces and the Anbiya, which people consider as their deities, the correct status is that Allah selects some of the Malaika to convey His wahi to the Rusul, messengers, and He also selects some human beings to convey this wahi to other human beings. All these beings can neither wield any power or authority of their own, nor can they convey people's needs unto Allah. Allah does not require such assistance, He Himself is all-hearing, all-seeing. Ayat 76. He is fully aware and knows the present and the future of all human beings. Everything in the universe revolves around His command, and nothing can remain outside His control. Ayat 77. This is Allah, the Supreme Commander of all powers, therefore those of you who profess Iman, accept obedience to Him only. You should bow before His laws in complete submission and obey Him in every respect. Do deeds which bring good to mankind and strengthen your own self. In this way you will flourish and attain prosperity, success and happiness. Ayat 78. In other words, continue to strive for the establishment and sustenance of the divine order, and make this struggle in right earnestness. It is He who has chosen you to carry out this mission, so do not ever think of it as some kind of hardship or labor imposed on you. This actually is in your own interest, and it will give you leadership over all nations. This order is not a new one, this is the same order which was established by your own forefather Abraham. Even the name Muslim, which is given to you, is not a new one. In bygone times Allah had given this name to other similar communities. Now in the Quran, this very name is proposed for you. The practical aspect of this program is that your Rasul would supervise your deeds, and after him your central authority would do so, and you would supervise the performance of mankind. For this purpose you should establish the system of Salat and make arrangements for the development of mankind, by holding fast to the divine laws, the Quran. Bear in mind that Allah alone is your supreme protector and He certainly is an excellent guardian and helper. Therefore have complete faith in His laws. This is the practical program and the key to every success and achievement in life.